Welcome back. Let us discuss the San Jose Sharks. San Jose has really been consistently mediocre this year. Overall, the record's 15, 25, and 11. Now, the good news is that it's been overshadowed by the resurrection of the career of Erik Karlsson. Erik Karlsson, who coming into this year, his contract very expensive, a lot of discussion of that, and a lot of discussion of whether or not he'd ever get back to the kind of production that he had shown prior to injuries taking its toll. This year, he's healthy, he's motivated, he's playing well, and his point totals have been fantastic. It does kind of overshadow what's been a mediocre season for the Sharks. The highest they've been in the power rankings is 26th. The lowest they've been this season is 31st. Currently, they are 28th. The playoff odds, 0.1% chance. So you're telling me there's a chance. I think that every time I see it. But the reality is this isn't a team that's making the playoffs. They're 3-7 in their last 10 games. They're 3-7 in their first 10 games this year. 6-11-3 through 20 games. 9-16-5 through 30 games. 12-20-8 through 40 games, and currently they're at 15-25-11. So what's interesting is they win 3 games between this point and this point after winning 3 games in the first 10. Then they win 3, they win 3, they win 3. If you win 3 out of every 10, you're probably not making the playoffs. And their status is as a rebuilder. And it feels like they've agreed to this, that they're rebuilding without saying, yeah, we're in a rebuild. I think they would prefer for it to be a retool, considering some of the veterans in the lineup. There's the possibility that works, but you have to have the money to make that work. And you have to have still some young kids coming into the lineup who are capable of producing. There are some decent prospects like Bordelot comes to mind, Eklund comes to mind. But for San Jose, they need to find a way to integrate them so they have entry-level contracts, saves them money elsewhere, and we'll see how that works for them. But at this point, I do qualify them as rebuilding, even though I think they would prefer the term retooling. Again, the MVP is Karlsson because it has to be. He is the most noteworthy member of the Sharks by a mile. 16 goals, 50 assists for 66 points so far for Erik Karlsson. So he's on pace for the best season of his career. He could eclipse 100 points. Last year we saw Roman Josi fall just short of that. I could see Karlsson hitting it. Timo Meier has been great after a slow start. 28 goals, 20 assists for 48 points, and he may very well be on the move. He's a restricted free agent this summer. The qualifying offer has to be $10 million minimum. And so with that qualifying offer being $10 million, the odds are he probably gets moved. And I'm saying probably because there's the opportunity to move somebody else and keep Meier. Meier's a really good young player, so it's going to be bittersweet if San Jose trades him. And sweet being, I think they'll get a lot back if they do decide to move him. Tomas Hertl, 14 goals, 29 assists, 43 points. Of course, they opted to keep him and sign him long-term rather than move on from him. And word had it that he's the one player that they'd rather not trade. Logan Couture, 19 goals, 28 assists, 23 assists for 42 points. I don't think Couture's going anywhere either, I just want to say. Even though Hertl was singled out as this is the guy they wouldn't trade under any circumstance, I don't think Couture goes anywhere either. He had 5 points in that game against Pittsburgh. Impressive game for him there. If they could win some games in overtime, we might be having a different discussion. If they won in shootouts just a little more regularly, and if they could keep the puck out of their net more often, we'd be talking about something different with San Jose too. Barabanov, 7 goals, 24 assists, 31 points. Doesn't get as much attention as I think he should. Arrived from Toronto without any fanfare, and I think Barabanov's provided them with some pretty solid play in the top 6. So they're tandem, and this is where things get interesting too, as you've got Reimer, who's on a expiring contract, and you've got Kakkonen, who they decided to keep. Now, I would think Reimer's the better goaltender than Kakkonen at this point, but do you keep Reimer at the deadline? I think he should be on the move. I think they should look at moving him. I think there would be teams that would definitely be interested in bringing in Reimer if he became available. Their pending UFA list is not very long, so if they want to pick up draft picks, Reimer's a guy who could do that for them. They have Bonino. I don't think Bonino gets them very much at the deadline, and then you have Harrington. So in terms of unrestricted free agents, there's not a lot here, but you still have Meier, who's a restricted free agent this summer, and so that's something to look at. The San Jose Sharks are still in the midst of figuring out the plan, I think, but it's the record of this team is kind of pushing towards let's figure this out. It's not dissimilar to Vancouver, where yeah, the team's losing and they're outside of the playoffs, but there's still this belief within management, within ownership, with the right tweaks, they can still be good. Hopefully this season is the one that causes them to say, you know what, we do need to get some more young players and some more draft picks, and they move in that direction. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.